So the opportunity came to get on the San Francisco Police Department, and I did. I took the examination and I got on. And that's when I really got an education about what was really happening here in San Francisco as it related to law enforcement. One of the first experiences I had, and I'm going to tell you, and the reason I'm talking about myself is so that you can learn what I went through. One of the first experiences I had was I was in the police academy, and one of the instructors came by and he said, "How many of you are veterans?" And I had just gotten out of the Korean War, and I raised my hand along with several other people in the class. He said, "Well, as a police officer, you're entitled to join the American Legion post, police American Legion post. And next Wednesday," he said, "there'll be a meeting. Here's an application card. Come next Wednesday to the meeting. Fill out this application. Give it to me and come next Wednesday to the meeting." So during the break, I had filled out my card and I took it in there. And he says, "Oh, William, yeah. Don't you come. I'm going to have to talk to the post commander about you." Yeah, but everyone else was told to come. They ran automatically. So I just reached over and got my card and said thanks and turned around and walked out. So I didn't become a member of the post branch of American Legion. When I got to the station, Potrero Police Station, which is now Southeast, 20th and 3rd, incidentally, there was the first black officers in San Francisco was in 1948, and by 1955 when I came on, there was only 10, just 10. And part of being a San Francisco police officer, at least for the minority officers, it was an Irish Catholic town, and the police department and the fire department was really Irish Catholic. So the fact that I took the examination and there were 264 people on the list, only 4 were black, 4 out of 264. So it was kind of tough getting on. But anyway, I graduated from the academy, went out to Potrero Station, 20th and 3rd Street. And one of the first things I noticed there, they had a big map of the Southeast area, and it was labeled the Belgium Congo on the map, you know. And white officers had a chance to get into police cars and learn. That's where you can learn about police work on police cars, but they get dispatched to people's homes where the problems are. But you don't really learn that much on a beat, walking a beat. You walk the beat. Older officers want to get out of the police cars and walk the beat, but younger officers want to get in. Well, I couldn't get in a street car. I walked the beat, and I walked it way out on Bayshore and Oakdale by the farmer's market there. But at any rate, it seems like things were brewing in the Hunters Point area, and we had an incident out there where a police car was turned over, and people had a meeting, and they decided, the community said, "How come we don't see any black officers?" And so they decided they'd let a couple of us get in the squad cars, and that's how we got in the squad cars in the Potrero district. Although there was a big representation of black people in the Southeast, but Hunters Point, Bayview district. So I stayed in Hunters Point. And I understand I was the 11th black officer. There's only 10. And I'll show you what San Francisco did. They had, I guess, 5 of the black officers were at the corner of Market, Ellis, and Stockton where they came in. And I guess the gray line used to pass by, and that was our line to say, this is an example of our colored officers on the San Francisco Police Department. They had 9 police stations. You put 5 of the black officers on one corner and the other 4 at Potrero Station, you know. And there's the opportunity to integrate the police department right there. Even if they put 1 officer in each station, it would be window dressing, but at least it would be something. And opportunities for black officers were absolutely none. I mean, you went to Potrero Station or you were directing traffic in those days. And there were no blacks in homicide, in missing persons, in the burglary, and auto detail, on the horses, on the motorcycles. It is because you put in a transfer and it just, nothing would happen. You never even heard anything about what happened to your transfer. So things were, that's how things were when I came in. I was at the trail station for 10 years. People used to rotate and come back and say, "You still here, Williams?" You know? So one day, because of the urging of the black community, San Francisco Police Department started a police community relations unit. And I was tickled to death. I was the first individual to put in my transfer to go to community relations, because if anyone needed community relations, it was the San Francisco Police Department. Well, I was already labeled as a troublemaker because I was a card-carrying member of the NAACP. And that was scratched on my locker. I came to work one day and it was scratched, card-carrying member of the NAACP. And I'd gone to the Urban League and the NAACP, and I talked about, what was happening to the few black officers, how we couldn't progress and stuff like that. So I had, I was going to always be at police community relations. So my transfer wasn't responded to, even though I was the first one to get on there. But eventually, we had a lieutenant by the name of Dante Andriotti, who was really sincere, who was really interested in good things happening in the police department. And one day I met him, and I told him that I put in a transfer. He said, "You did?" I never got a transfer. But no, it wasn't going to get to him. But at any rate, he was sincere, and he brought me in. And by that time, the War on Poverty program was gotten started, and I was assigned to be the liaison officer for the police department for the Western Addition. And if there was anything that I would really found my niche, it was a community relation officer, and especially in the district that I was born, the Western Addition. And so I worked my butt off, and I was recognized. And then when the leader, Andriotti, went to Washington, D.C. to join the Justice Department, he told the chief, "I think that Rodney Williams would be a person that might be able to take my place." And I think the chief said, "No, I don't think we can have that, But at any rate, it was because of the community. It was open then. The job was open, and the community got together, and they insisted. It wasn't the police department. It was the community that insisted that you can't do any worse. They said, give them a chance. And to me, it was a challenge. In fact, it was probably one of the biggest challenges of my life, because Andriotti had done such a good job that we were the finest police community relations in the country, and it was noted we were the finest police. And so it was, to me, I had to continue that job. And fortunately, I had a great staff. See, I was just director, but there was a guy out in the street that was really doing the work, maybe making me look good, But anyway, it got to the place that the police department, politics got in, and got to the place the police department figured that we were so successful, they didn't need the police community relations unit anymore, and it was abolished. And we had a chief from across the bay come in, and he had already abolished the, yes, Vivian, I know my 2 minutes are up. That's my daughter instead. But at any rate,